Okay. Well, what I thought we'd do is I had sent just an agenda out. I don't plan on taking a whole lot of your time. Like I said, I know that we're super busy, but I do want to just do quick introductions with those that are here, and so we'll do that here in just a second. Just kind of a quick overview of the project of kind of what we did last year, and how we like to bring more people in to make it more awesome. Grab your input, questions you have, ideas, and see if we can help make this work with all the classes. And then just kind of plan some next steps to get ready for it. If we're still all on board by the end of the conversation, hopefully we don't scare anybody away. Um, I'll just start. I'll introduce myself, and then we can just jump in there, and then we can get into the details of the project. My name's Aaron Maurer, from Bettendorf, Iowa. I work at a middle school, about 1,100 kids. I am a instructional coach for our school district, and so I am actually working with our social studies teachers to launch this project. And so they're excited to bring in a new audience. Not quite sure how to do it, and I luckily have some experience running some global projects and know a few things about Skype and stuff. And so helping them build the logistics and be in the classroom and help as needed. But we'll have two or three other social studies teachers in this project on my end in Iowa that we'll be working with as we get going. And I'll get everybody introduced, but for tonight's sake, they're not on this call. So that's just a quick rundown of who I am and where I'm at. So either one of you guys want to jump on next? And
Sure. I'm Jamie Gretz, and I teach eighth grade social studies, American history, in Canton, Ohio. And I'm the only social studies teacher for eighth grade in our building. Our building's probably about between 400 and 500 kids in the building. Um, our building's called Early College Academy because we've got mostly it's an inner city population, but we've got basically the good kids that are college bound. So that's kind of what we're dealing with, and hopefully it'll be a good addition to the team.
I'm Carrie Renfro. I teach seventh grade civics and eighth grade U.S. history in a K-8 building. And so we have 2,200 kids from pre-K 3 up to eighth grade. We're in a suburb of Tampa. And I'm the subject area leader, which is kind of like department head for my building also. So I'm in charge of sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade social studies as well.
very good. And then there's another teacher from Spain that has shown interest, and like I said, time zone stuff didn't quite work out. And we have another educator from Arizona. She's got a smaller class. She's a gifted education teacher. And she has younger kids, fifth and sixth grade. So I'm not quite sure if she'll jump with it or not. I hope she does and sticks with it, and at least gives it a try. I don't know, but that's kind of where we are with interest. About 9 people that had said yes, and I think there's 4 or 5 that are really kind of looking forward to moving on.
Okay.
I shared a Google folder. Did you guys all receive that? It was been a couple weeks ago
Yes.
that had all the documents from the project from last year. And not that I expect you to read all that in great detail, 'cause I know you've got more
Did you
important
email it
things to
to us,
do.
or did you? How did you share it?
You should have got an email um, notification, and I can resend it out again if you don't have it.
Okay. I
Just
didn't
makes
see it yet, so if you want
okay.
to send it
Yep,
again,
yep. I'll send it again to you.
Thanks. Okay.
So basically, what we did, just a quick 30-second run through, is American Revolution. We were trying to figure out a way to not just try to move beyond content and try to incorporate 21st century learning skills, like we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
So we created a debate called "Is Revolution Justified?" And so we took this last year we only had 2 teachers, so 180 kids from the one teacher's sections, again, and they pitted them against the other 180 kids with the other teacher. And we used VoiceThread for that, where kids would have at least one day to prep. So we give them one class period to record their debate. So it was an asynchronous debate. We'd have opening remarks, but you had one class period to get it done, or one day. The next day, the other team would listen and would have to respond and get it recorded before the end of that class period. And we went back and forth like that for 6 days. So each team spoke 3 times. We had teams of 3 students. It was up to the students to figure out who they wanted to speak first and last. And so we would talk debate and how to articulate and when to put in facts. And we have some structure that we've done with that. And I can give you all those forms. Like the last speaker, can't introduce any new information. So just basic debate protocols, nothing earth shattering there. And then in the end, we just listened, and we actually had the students listen to 2 other debates and gave peer review. We never in the end declared a winner because we didn't tell kids we weren't going to do that. But the goal isn't to say you're a winner and you're not a winner. The goal was how did we speak? What were the good moments? What did you hear that went well? And that kind of reward system went really well. Like I really liked the way Carrie spoke about this. She really drove this point home. And it wasn't and so we made the kids the evaluators because we had what do we have, like over 100 debates when it was all said and done, and a teacher can't listen to all those. I mean, you say you like to, but you're going to spend your 3 weeks in solitary confinement listening to debates. But so that's what we've done, and so we're looking at trying to keep it somewhat the same. Obviously, we're open to modification to make it work. Kind of what we're looking at, and we're flexible with starting. This is September. Starting the project in late September, end of September, and we have a timeline, and I'll resend that out so make sure you have that, Jamie. But we work, and we kind of gave you what we did last year. We just kind of documented it, and then towards the end, it would be the end of October-ish. We actually did the debates. So it's about a 34, 36 day project, I guess, when it's all said and done. Obviously, you can curtail that to kind of meet your needs. But everything was live, and we have exhibition at our middle school. So first and second semester, kids have to display their learning to the community. And so this was really cool. They could hit play, and parents could hear. And so some of that was nice. But that's just a really, really quick run through. I mean, we have all the forms and stuff that we use. You don't have to use those, but I'll make sure you have that. Actually, let me make sure I share that now.
It looked like you had some TCI stuff that, like the History Alive kinds of things that were put into there.
We did. We had a couple components that we had from a
town hall meeting.
Yeah, a sample kit where we had a sample thing. We almost went with that curriculum. Our one teacher, Mrs. Hatch, loves TCI, but we don't. That's not our curriculum, but we did use that piece.
Okay, I'm familiar with TCI. We don't use it in our district, but I like pieces of it, and I did the town hall meeting last year.
Okay.
And tried to find somebody else to do it with, and I couldn't find anybody in our district, which is kind of odd. We're the 8th largest district in the United States, so I still couldn't find anybody. And we have like 48 middle schools.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's huge. There are like, I don't know, it's the like 1,600 teachers or something like that. So pretty big.
Yeah. Holy cow! Well, maybe that's something that we can even connect with, maybe in some capacity.
Well, and I have some friends in other parts of the county because I actually work on the outskirts of Tampa in the northern end, but I live on the eastern side of the county and commute that way. And I have friends that are on this side of the county. We meet once a month as department heads all together downtown and talk about what we do and try to take ideas back to the building. And I know that I have friends that are really into technology and trying to find ways to make it work, but we just didn't know where to go.
Yeah, that's we run into that, and that's where we're looking at, what can we do without reinventing the wheel. We have a project that we like. We have 1 year on it. We don't just want to shovel it and be done. And this kind of seemed like the next logical approach without throwing our own teachers, in a whole new learning scheme, but obviously challenging ourselves as well. So I was like, well, let's just put it out. The Skype in the classroom seems like it'd be a good fit, and so yeah. I'm gonna just interject real quick. I see Stephen, you're able to jump in here.
Yes.
So we're just kind of quickly going through the thing, but maybe before we continue on, if you just want to take a quick second and just kind of introduce yourself, and then we can jump back into the conversation here.
Well, I am a middle school teacher in South Central Kansas. I'm just kind of diving into the Skype in the classroom thing really for the first time this year. And attended an ed camp this summer, if you're familiar with that concept.
Yep.
And there were some Skype master teachers who talked about things there. And this is, if I find a way to work this in, will really be my first big endeavor into it, as far as live Skyping with people. So I do teach 8th grade American history. In fact, we've already started dabbling in this concept, using this question of is revolution justified as a unit essential question as we're approaching, the constant, revolutionary era in the United States, and talking about eventually going to cite evidence for our case here if we get the opportunity to do that using their background. And, if students decide that it is justified, that's my angle that I want to take on it, I think, is using this as an opportunity for students to put their work out there on a broader scale in my classroom and work in those ideas of citing evidence and all that.
Good. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at too, just trying to take the regular content of history and challenge them to think and be able to take the data and research and do something with it and be able to articulate their thoughts and beliefs. And so we're with you on that one 100%, which is why we're trying to keep pushing this project to that next step. And then Jamie, I just emailed you the link to the Google folder, and Steve, I just sent it to you too. I wasn't sure if you got it. And Carrie, you have it, right? You got
Yes.
Okay.
I've looked through it, and I think I emailed you that I was going to have my tech leader look at it as well.
Yeah.
We have a full tech department downtown, and they go from school to school to school, and they were really excited about anything we needed, anything to help out with it.
Okay, good. So I don't know if you guys have any sort of questions just in general off the top of your head. Not that I expect you to have everything processed, but things that I can definitely bring back. I'll show obviously this video with the two teachers and figure out the logistics. But before I kind of shared maybe some back end stuff, I didn't know if you guys have any questions or concerns or things that you would like in there. Because we want to make sure we are accommodating as we can, obviously.
Now, is the idea to do live, like a live session, or is it going to be more like you record it and then put it up there?
My thoughts are this, and I am not speaking on behalf of the other teachers. So what I would like to see is, I don't know with the amount of kids that we have, if we could go live with all of them. The voice thread does work, especially for those kids that maybe haven't debated, but they still get a sense of debating or articulating their thoughts. That asynchronous format of voice thread, for I would say about half our kids, that is a very stressful day. You've got 42 minutes, you have to speak, you have to sell it, and someone's going to listen to you. And they just want to keep, that wasn't very good. But I would like to maybe dabble in both. And maybe do some live Skype debates. The kids that maybe really get it, or not really get it, but there's those extroverts that a camera does not affect them. And maybe do voice thread for the majority, and just see how it goes. Because there are a lot of people, I would say, that I feel comfortable handling the logistics of making it all happen. I don't know that I'm to a point where I'm comfortable trying to handle 700 kids debating via Skype yet. So that's a long-winded answer, but I would like to do both. And why we have classes connected, what does that look like? How does it flow? And then build upon that. But still maybe keeping some of that voice thread for the majority, just because I think it is a good branching off point for us to get to kids speaking live and debate. That's just my perception and where we're at. So I don't know if that really answers your question or not, but
I was actually just trying to think about logistics, like how to, with different bell schedules and time zones. Like right now it's 9:15 for me,
right?
So, and I know that's not the same time as everybody else. So.
Yeah.
and our day it just looks differently because we're a K-8. So what would that look like? And because I teach 7th and 8th grade, my 7th graders are learning about different forms and types of government right now. And they're going to unpack the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and founding documents and try to thread them all together. So this would be a perfect segue into U.S. history for them as well. And they might have a different take on it than my 8th graders who have already had civics and are now taking U.S. history.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely work on our end. I guess I have, of me being an instructional coach, is I do not teach. I don't have any kids. I work with teachers to develop projects, look at student learning, all that good stuff. And so on my end, we could make it work, I think, with a small group of kids where I could pull kids as needed. If I could tell teachers 3 times we're gonna sample this live debate thing, I could pull them in my room and run a Skype. I mean, so we have some flexibility on our end just due to the structure of what we have. And so I think we could make it work if people were interested, and that's where I think maybe starting small to kind of see what that's like.
We have coaches in our building as well that could do the same thing.
Okay.
I wonder too, with working with each other, I wonder if a nice introduction might be to do like maybe a mystery Skype session with, kind of introducing our classes to each other at some point. If you're familiar with mystery Skype, guessing where the other school is, so to speak, and then say, hey, you can tell the kids later, hey, we're gonna work with these folks on a project this year. So might be a nice little thing to do.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
That'd be a nice, easy launch into the project, as opposed to just saying you're going to be, hey, we got this call. We're going to see who these people are from. Oh, by the way, you're going to be debating against them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Okay.
Steven, you got any ideas off the top of your head?
No, this for me was just very much information gathering, see what you had in your mind. First time here, obviously, I'm going to get a chance to look at some of these documents you just shared. So I'm sure there'll be more things, more logistical and specific things that come to my mind that I'll be in touch with you on.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm very green at this concept, and I just want to experience it as much as I can. And so I guess I don't have anything I know of that I want to find out right now.
Yeah. And if you do have questions, obviously feel free to reach out. I've done some global projects through, I used to do the Racism Project through the Flat Connections, where I was working and I organized a Week in a Life project, and we had 400 kids from 12 countries, and most of them didn't speak English, and we find ways to make it work. And so I think, I guess my selling point to you would be we're open and flexible to make things work. That's what it's about. That's what we want with our kids. And so I guess on the back end of stuff, what I'm looking at, if we can get to a point where we can kind of agree on some dates and things, we don't have to do that tonight. This is nice just to kind of introduce ourselves. I will create a spreadsheet once we kind of figure out who's in and the amount of students we have. And what works well is we'll go through and start to add our kids' teams in. And this won't happen probably for a couple weeks yet, so it's not like I'm going to send this to you tomorrow and I need it, But and we can start to fill in our kids or our teams and start to line up who's going to be debating who and when, and kind of working through those logistics. And so I'll create all that. In terms of VoiceThread, I'll create I'll create everything. And I have tutorials. I have a lot of that done from last year. So on our end, we'll set all that up. On your end, it'd just be, making sure you're ready, asking questions to make sure you feel ready, and the only real tools we'll just use is obviously Skype, VoiceThread, email, and Google Docs, and sharing stuff back and forth. And so that's about it. I don't like to get it too complex and it gets too confusing.
Now, this VoiceThread concept is new to me.
Okay.
I guess I would want to know or need to know how that is accessed from a student level, if there's special software that's needed. Just a little bit of background here. I'm in a school that does have a one-to-one iPad initiative. However, those iPads have not made it to students yet. And so that's supposed to come and happen about October 1st. Is this voice thread thing something that is accessible and easily used with an iPad, for
Yeah,
example?
they have an app, and so we'll pay for the license to host all of it, and we'll create all the team accounts, so they're all generic login accounts. So we don't
Okay.
need kids' email. We don't need any. We'll have it. We'll send all that to you, and they're just real generic, like Team 21, and that's their login, and we'll give them a password, and it works really easy. There's 3 buttons on the bottom, especially on the iPad. You hit record, you speak, you hit stop, and it puts it basically on think of like a PowerPoint slide. And we'll have it'll say Team 1 introductory speaker. And so then if I'm Team 1 and I'm the first speaker, I hit record and speak into that one. The next slide is, Team 2 introductory speaker. And so then you can listen to it and leave comments verbally on there. And so it's just it'll be look like a 6-slide PowerPoint that you can record your voice on. It's all stored online, so there's no software. You would just need to download the app, but you can do that on a computer or whatever works for you.
Okay.
And I've got tutorials and all that we use with all the teachers. I recorded video stuff that we can send your way to.
Okay.
And what we'll probably do, it'd be nice at some point if when people are on, is we'll probably maybe just do a mock teacher one, just to make sure everybody knows how to record, and just do a one off the cuff, just kind of something stupid, who's better, Homer or Marge? I don't know, but just so we can make sure we're all comfortable using the tool, and so.
Okay.
But yeah. Are there any other thoughts or questions or things that I can answer at this point? I won't overload you with too much, and I know there's a lot in the documents, but just if there's anything on your mind or things that you need, obviously schedule would be a good one. Logistics, getting information on voice thread's a good one. Mystery Skype intro, I think that would be a really good start to the project. Anything else on your guys' end that I could do or make sure I'm prepared for to help you out?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Well, so maybe what we'll do, Jamie and Stephen, you just got those documents. I'll give you some time to kind of look through those. And if you have questions, you can follow up. And maybe what I'll do is then early next week, just kind of get a feel for where you guys are, whether you're interested or not. And then we can kind of hash out maybe a draft calendar, just so we can kind of look at where we are and make sure that we're kind of on the same page. Probably most importantly would be that we all agree on when we want to record the debates. And then how you get to that point, obviously it's your own classroom. And so I think on the teacher end, it might be interesting as we go through there, just what are resources and things that we're all using, and can we share the collective power that we have? And we've got stuff, but there might be better ways too. And so maybe locking in the mystery Skype and locking in our debate times. And then what you do between there is obviously in the power of the professional educators. So
I'm curious, where is everybody else in curriculum, like leading up to the revolution?
Well, that's the one thing I was concerned a little bit about, because we start clear back in the Explorers in 1492, and
Yes,
so you do too. Okay, because the end of September means I got to push through a lot of things, colonialism and stuff like that. But we'll see what we can do. Are you in the Explorers still right now, Carrie?
Well, our curriculum has been compacted a little bit.
Yeah.
So right now I'm doing the motivations for exploration, and then
Right.
starting on Monday, at least in my plan book, it looks like we're going to be moving into the 3 different regions of the colonies: New England, Middle, Southern, and then differentiating the economic systems, and then moving into primary source documents, and because they've already had a huge background in civics. We take an EOC in civics for 7th grade, an end of course test, and it's a state test that they have to pass as a graduation requirement for high school. So they have a lot of background history on the Proclamation of 1763 already, and the rule of law and King George and all that stuff they kind of already know, so I can breeze through things a little faster in 8th grade. So I think I might be able to get there on time if I have a really good group of kids this year. They're advanced honors, today's lesson that I usually do for 50 minutes took me only 30. So I think I might be able to go faster.
Okay.
Well, the way we're set up in Kansas for 8th grade, the concept or theory is that we start roughly at the creation of the republic, get the Constitution pretty quick. We go through some of the background just to set the stage of how or why would the colonists have even considered taking those steps. And so right now we're in that stage of looking at some of those decisions that the British made that angered the Americans, everything from, of course, the Navigation Acts down to the Boston Massacre and all that. So hitting that time frame of getting recording for this type of debate, the time frame you're looking at, is not going to be any issue for me. In fact, we'll probably have moved beyond that and really start getting into heavy of what the Constitution really does say and the Bill of Rights and all that. So we'll just kind of be sitting and waiting a little bit, and now pull it back up and get this recording stuff done when it's time.
Yeah, and I'll say, and we're just getting into colonialism right now. And so I feel like we're kind of maybe all having the same thing. Our kids do not have any prior history. Our 6th grade, we're a 6, 7, 8 building. Our 6th grade is ancient civilizations.
So are we.
And 7th grade is continuation of, I don't know what you call it, modern civilizations, but still looking at the world. It's kind of weird. So our 7th, hits up World War II, try to get up through their from the Renaissance through Cold War, and then we go back in time and look at, okay, now what about America and why were we even involved in these wars? It doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. So it feels like we're at least somewhat on the kind of the same playing field, and we can take that question of revolution, and it doesn't have to adhere to just American Revolution. We can kind of play with that as we keep working. And I think that'll be good. And so I don't think we have to necessarily be locked in just the Revolutionary War. We can move.
Why do countries revolt? Any country.
Right. And so, and I think by that point, at least kids will have enough knowledge to at least be able to speak coherently. Whether it is on just one example or not. I'm hoping some of the high flyers really dig deep, and and I hope. They get stumped as well, because that's when they, go back and start doing your research. You listen to it, you're recording tomorrow, game on, let's go. So trying to get them ready for that kind of thinking on the fly. So awesome. Well, we're right at 30 minutes. I won't take more of your time because I know we're all busy. I appreciate you guys taking time to jump on, and it's nice talking and seeing faces for the first time. I will reach out, like I said, next week, probably on Tuesday, to send an email out, seeing where you are, if you're interested or not, and then we can start to plan those dates, and then just start to collectively share those resources and start to make this come together. And that'll give you guys some time to look through the stuff. And in between there, if you have questions or whatever, just shoot me an email. I'm an online junkie, so I'm always on. And other than that, we'll take it from there, and I'm excited. I think this is going to be another opportunity for kids and for teachers to figure it out. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, and have a good night, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon.
All right. Thank you.
All righty.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody. Good night.